Welcome to Bragging Rights, episode 40. 40? Ooh, big round 40.
40 and out.
I know, yeah. Last weekly one, I believe. But as always, hosted at Tribal, sponsored by Comscaf, and don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe because it helps us massively.
And a hype.
And a hype, apparently,
you
whatever
okay
one of them is.
You introduced me to YouTube
He
hype.
just nearly cleaned you
Did I?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all right? Yeah.
I missed him.
This is proper started off splotchy, this, ain't it?
Oh, well.
Episode 40 at Tribal, sponsored by Comscaf. Hype the fuck out of the videos on YouTube because
Hype
it
it.
really does help.
Do you know at the start, before we started, Jimmy was like, oh, I'm not starting, I always start. And then Craig's done a great job and he still had to repeat it.
We'll ask the Union guy commenter if I've done a good job this week.
Oh, I'm going to open with some Union stuff today.
Do you know what I think is really funny? Is like just because he's played Union for what, like 5 games?
Two.
Two games of Union. The 100+ games of league that you played over however many years don't count anymore because you've played Union.
Played
You
rugby
piece
league.
of scum.
Played rugby league from being 5 to being 32.
And now
will
you're known as a Union
Now
guy.
I'm known as the Union guy.
You'll forever be known as
Forever?
the Union guy.
I'll take it.
Anyway, ask us how we've been.
Don't want to. How you been?
Shit.
How you been, Josh?
Yeah, grand.
Yeah, short and sweet. I like it. Dane, how you been?
Shit.
Shit.
Are you on about Josh's comment or Josh?
Josh don't look shit. I'd be like that.
Short though.
Short.
Very sweet.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that. He's right. Why shit? Just shit.
Just shit,
Fair
yeah.
enough. Jimmy?
Because he was late for the recording and now he's in trouble with HR.
Well, that's true. And what
Sorry,
about you?
Susan.
Oh, I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm back to work full time. It's
Yeah?
great. I love it.
Lovely stuff. Let's move on to the...
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, yeah.
Good.
I wasn't even going to ask me. I was just going to go straight into the game.
You couldn't really go, well, how am I?
What game?
Well,
England Fiji.
I ain't seen that yet, so shush. I was at Headingley.
Fair enough.
Trying to claw back some league points.
Mark, the YouTube guy that's been
Let-
around for 5 minutes and made 12 comments.
Let's get into it then. England, Australia, third test, Headingley. You guys both went?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not together. We didn't even see each other, did we?
No, you was in the East End, weren't you? And I
Seen
was
you
in
on
the
telly,
South.
though.
I was on the TV
Yeah.
box, that is correct. I got a little message from Callum. Is that you?
You couldn't miss you.
Well,
He was in the background of the South Stand, and
Yeah.
I think it was the no try in the first half, the England one where the winger fumbled it for Australia, and Watkins couldn't dive on it.
we call him Marky Mark because we can't pronounce his
Yeah,
name.
I just said the winger. I'm not even attempting it, and you could just see your big head popping
Yeah,
up above the
it was
crowd.
there,
Yeah.
I like the fact that Callum messaged you and said, "Is that you?" As if you're meant to know.
No, he sent me a
Whilst you're
picture.
acting-
Oh, wait, oh,
yeah. So, yeah.
Still one shot, though.
Good
No.
afternoon. Apart from obviously result aside.
Yeah, it was. It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Busy,
Very busy.
which is good.
Yeah.
Like, it was obviously sold out, which was a good sign. And, you know, most of the free games have been sold out or there or thereabouts, which is always good to see. But it was also busy in Leeds. Like, it often is. It's a busy little city, we know that. But that was packed out. The Otley Run seemed to be on overdrive. There seemed to be a lot of people out for the Otley Run. Don't know what
It's not
particular
far from
men.
Headingley, though, is it?
Like, but I've done it I've done it loads of times. I've done it maybe a dozen times in my life, and I've done it times when it felt like I'm the only group in fancy dress doing it, and I've done it times in the middle of summer where it's been chaos. It felt like it was really busy for really a mild day, then cold night.
Yeah, it nipped off a bit, didn't it?
But it
towards
was
the
rammed
end?
full of people, and then Leeds itself was quite busy. It just sort of, it was like just after payday. I don't know what it was, but it was
But it
busy.
was
It's
last-
because the Aussies were in town and they've been introduced to what a real pint looks like.
It was last
As
year
it
when we
points
went
to that pint of Coke.
As opposed to the
you want
pints
to what?
that are, as opposed to the pints that are this big in Australia.
It was last year. We went to the Samoa game. Second test was it against Samoa, and it
When
was
us three went.
yeah, it was trying to get back to town that day, and then in town itself was absolutely rammed. So just I think it's just is a no, it was his daughter's birthday.
Right.
I was in Doncaster.
Watching Union.
No, I was at Yorkshire Wildlife Park watching some gorillas.
he was.
Watching some gorillas with a rugby ball. So yeah, same thing.
Fair.
But no, really busy, and then there was some kerfuffle at the end. You know, all 3 trains after 6 p.m. coming back to Hull were cancelled, and there was like a mad rush, and I was like squished against the driver's door.
We had a ball late with trains after.
Yeah,
we were
game, though,
squished.
didn't we?
Which, it's just one of them things, but
Trains in general, I think.
it
innit?
did add to all the palaver. But overall, good atmosphere,
It sounded like
good
a
amount of
atmosphere.
people there, good sort of vibes around the rugby and the city and the game. So yeah, apart from the game itself and the result and the end of the Ashes, it was a nice way to round out the end of the Rugby League season for us UK fans, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give credit for that. We criticised that first test for not sounding like and feeling like a proper test match. And I'm only saying this from my armchair, but the last two tests sounded and felt like proper test match, like they should do.
Yeah, I turned around to Lauren midway through the second half when England had sort of started ramping it up a little bit, and there was a few sort of coming together, if you will, handbags at dawn. And I turned around and I said, "This feels like a proper test," and it did until they scored them later tries, which obviously we'll get onto in a bit, which sort of just took the edge off the game. We were very much in that fight, and the crowd could sense it as well. And I just want to mention the crowd. It was poorly organised. So the South Stand at Leeds has seats at the top and standing at the bottom, and apparently there were people who had bought seated tickets but couldn't get into the seats because it was full, and they ended up standing at the front in front of me, bearing in mind I was on the bottom step. So there was loads of people down there, but it was all good natured once it had all sort of settled down. It was really good. Really
I mean,
good
we
time.
actually were sat next to some Aussies. Just good crack. In for it. One of the first comments I'd wrote down to talk about today was that there was a much better vibe and feel about the game, which you sort of alluded to about we're sort of in the fight a bit. I did finish that sentence with overall poor again, but on that side of it, it was nice. It felt like a proper test, and it felt like we was going for it, and it felt like we had chances. And overall, I'm not disappointed that I went to the game. I have disappointments over the series and the way it's performed and the way we performed as a country. But yeah, shout out to picking them venues that are the right ones and getting them sold out and getting the right people in. So it's good.
Yeah, it was good.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, well, for the
Venue-wise.
RFL, that's like a 66% improvement. So
On to the game itself.
intensity. I've used that word all throughout the season when I've been talking about Rovers, and in defence, the intensity was there from England. You know, some of the tries Leicester scored were a little bit slack in defence from the English boys, but down the middle especially, we matched them very, very much so. And it did feel a bit different. Like we've spoke about it already, and we was kind of hoping maybe that there was going to be a different outcome to what there actually was, especially when Williams scored and that got the crowd going and things like that. Just want to be.
I was severely, but first one to bring it up, I was severely disappointed when Mikey went to fullback. Before he had a poor game, I was very disappointed when he went there. It showed to me either a massive mistake in planning or a distinct lack of planning for what to do if we have an injury at fullback. Because we'd seen a bit of the game plan, we'd seen the high bombs that they'd been putting up in the previous games, we'd seen how Johnston had managed them under the high ball. We know that Budgie can do it, and Budgie had one of them games where he was good going forward, but he made some errors and he had some mistakes. So he was.
Tell you, I'm
average.
playing in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Should have stayed in Portugal.
Yeah. As soon as Mikey came on, I just thought this is the wrong choice. And then
You messaged and I've got it here. Mikey at fullback is a bad choice,
he did play there,
but we had no other option.
He did play there in the early days for Rovers. He did get a couple of spots in there. He did used to move there when we had injuries at times, and he did a job, but that's not his out-and-out position anymore. And I'm not trying to take away from, look, he pulled away from one high ball, didn't commit for going for it, that cost us a try. There was some woeful tackling from him as well that he didn't really do a good job, which was poor to see. He didn't have a good game, but he was thrown to the Wolves in a position that, for me, there's a better way to shuffle that team and still bring Mikey on.
What would you have gone?
So for me, it would have been Johnston to wing.
Fullback.
To fullback, off the wing to fullback. And then I think that you have a shuffle around and you put people like maybe Farmouth out into the wing. And then you just sort of play around that way. You can move your pack around and put Mikey at loose man if you want to keep Williams and Smith on. There are different ways to do it rather than putting somebody on that's untested at this level at fullback.
And they persecuting
But I
him.
think Johnston would have been untested at this level, and I think in Wayne's thinking, I'm not trying to defend him because I won't defend him. Mikey's played at fullback the odd time, so it was the more natural choice out of what he's
and that's
got.
why I'm more curious whether there was a plan and that was planned. Because for me, I've read all the ratings online, and I'm not here to defend Mikey because he had a poor game. But I can understand why some outlets are saying 3 out of 10, and then some outlets are giving a 5 out of 10 because going forward he was still making sparks. He was looking at options, and that's what he is good at. And I said last week on this podcast, defensively he's not as good as Williams or Smith. So fullback is an exposed position, and it just felt, and that's why I texted before it even went wrong. I just felt I don't like this.
I probably would have put Farnworth at fullback, move Watkins into centre.
Even Newman's played there, I think, a few times for Leeds, where he's had to drop in, not started there, but had to drop in and stuff. So you've got more experienced players at this level than Mikey to be putting in at fullback. And I think, like you said, he was thrown to the Wolves.
Look, it isn't why we lost the game.
No, absolutely not.
We still are offered nothing in attack.
Let's be honest. All this happened. That change happened, and there was already 6-0 up, 8-0 up, or whatever it was. They'd already scored their first try, and they'd already picked out our frailties with that right edge, which was Kai Pearce-Paul stepping left and not sliding right, and then the rest of that side had to come in and too narrow. Long ball over the top, Adam
Yeah,
Cars
but you have to jam in as well.
So they'd already picked on our frailties anyway.
There was a random person behind us. Couldn't tell you what fan there was. There was English though to the accent, and that try there, it was like, oh, Burgess, you've got to do better. He's like, the Rovers players are having a stinker, and I obviously turn around saying, and I was like, that is incorrect. At this point, Mikey had only been on a short period of time, so we didn't know if he was having a good game or not. Jez, obviously, as we're going to discuss shortly, anyways, for me, he's my player of the series, so, and he had a great game, but Budgie had to come in because of the way that the line was moving.
Well, you've got Pearce-Paul, and anyone who's not watching on YouTube, I'm trying to show my hands. You've got Kai Pearce-Paul who comes left, and then he steps too far to his defender that he's defending with on his left, and then doesn't slide right, which then forces the half-back, the centre, and the winger to have to come in to cover that if there's any alarm, but if there's any inside runners or anything like that. He let his side down at defending at that point. It's not Budgie's fault. It's not Newman's fault. It's not whoever the halfback was on that side. I can't remember Williams. It's not their fault. He was the one who was the weak link in the chain at that point, and that was where that try come from.
That doesn't fit the narrative, though. You're not allowed to talk bad about the players who are playing, Aussie, are we?
Well, to be fair, and we'll get onto it later on, biggest disappointment for me of the series as Kai Pearce-Paul is
so he's on my shortlist as well.
He's not on my he is the shortlist. He is that's the main one for me.
Just to move it away from that, I just jumped onto Rovers players quickly, which I thought was relevant, but to move away slightly, that what we've just described there is sort of synonymous for me for the entire 3 series and this game. That they didn't have. I still don't believe Australia got out a second gear very often to beat us in any of these games, and we just didn't offer enough going forward. But also, all they had to do was put on, for me, training ground moves and execute them well and quickly, and they would get round us and score. Now, across the 3 tests, there's been a couple of soft tries, but tries like that aren't particularly soft. The well executed moves where the ball gets passed and it goes for hands and it's done well executed.
You give players like that a sniff, they are going to finish them
I think we made them look good, if I'm honest.
I can't comment. For fear of getting a nickname like yourself.
You was watching the Union, weren't you?
No, I was at the MKM watching the soccer. So I don't want to be labelled a soccer guy, but I kind of do now.
I'm just disappointed overall. There's a stat. I'll talk about Union. We've talked about this for the first 2 weeks of the Ashes, and it would come up again today if we let it run, which is we keep going back to, and I think it's relevant. What we're doing wrong, what do we do better? There are 2 things here that alarm me. So the first one is, they're now talking the next Ashes is for 2028 in Australia. So let's now just...
What are we in now, 25?
25 now. So now let's take a 2.5, 3 year break before we do something like this again.
We've got the World Cup next year, haven't we?
Yeah. So what we're going to do in between, so what we're going to do 27 before 28, we need to be thinking now.
They want to do like a Six Nations kind of thing. I think I read somewhere about it being like PNG, Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, Samoa and England.
Oh, okay. So that's the type of thing that we want, because that's what concerns me. But the Union reference, Wayne took over this job in February 2020. You want to hazard a guess how many games we've played as an England team?
8.
6.
7.
So 19 games,
Oh, okay.
right?
If we had them together, it was nearly.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's because 8 of them was out of the World Cup in 2022,
They don't count.
right? Not excuse your numbers, they're relevant. So that means that we've played 8 games in that competitive nature of the World Cup. So other than that, 11 games across them years. So not a bad number. Is it all right? And now we can see if it's good or not. We spoke at length about how England Union have got the right priorities to make the international level of the sport, like sort of the top level. In the same period since February 2020, England Rugby Union have played 70 games as of the end of this weekend.
Jesus.
Well, I was going to say I bet they're knackered, but they don't do much, do they, sir?
Stop with the digs.
It's Union. But look, it's a quarter of the way off, near enough, right? And I'm not
It's
saying
not good enough.
I'm not saying we should be playing that amount of games, but there's no wonder that they are fancied as and often in the top 5 in the world against a much more competitive pool of teams because there's a lot better. There's a bigger number of a lot better rugby union teams out there. So what we've got, and the news, we're going to talk about the World Cup and we're going to talk about the teams that are in the World Cup. You look at that and you're like, we might not actually be in the top 5 of the 10 teams going to the World Cup. Whereas really, England have been in the top 5 rugby union for pretty much the last 25 years since rugby union went professional. Why?
Since they won the World Cup in 03, I think.
Because they commit to it.
And there was building for years and years before that as well.
I think the problem that we've got, though, as a sport is...
We don't know what we're doing tomorrow.
Well, no. The problem that we've got as a sport from an international perspective is there's, 10 nations where you could probably say like they've got professional players. Then you've got nations like the Netherlands, you've got Canada, you've got the US...
South Africa.
South Africa,
Jamaica and
yeah,
things
who,
like
who
that.
put in a good stint
They
against
did.
the Cook Islands this
They did.
It's got a
weekend.
lovely try.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But you're competing against nations like that where rugby league is... I mean, rugby league in South Africa don't get funded because rugby union gets funded and the South African government turn around and say, well, we already fund rugby.
What do the British and Irish Lions do when they travel? When they go on the Lions tour, what do? They play
club games.
3 tests against wherever they're in South Africa or they're in Australia or the New Zealand fam. What do we do as well to get them to play 10, 12 games over that 3-week period?
Club games.
Play club games. They take a big squad and they play club games. Why aren't we doing that?
Time?
Because we play too many games at a Super League level.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the NRL bosses have come out and said. And that's what all saying.
Drop it to 10 teams.
This is why they want to reduce the number of teams that are in the competition. They want to reduce the number of games that we play at a Super League level. Because we shouldn't be playing 27 games. We should be playing about 20 games. And that frees up weekends throughout the year, not at the end, throughout the year, where teams can have a break. You're going to get a better product of sport if your teams can have a break every 6 weeks.
Well, how many games do they play? They haven't got
a Challenge Cup.
Yeah, but they've still got 16 teams.
No, there's not that many.
There is.
Yeah, there is. There's 16 teams. So that's
In the Gallagher
15 game. No, the NRL.
Oh, the NRL.
So that's 30 games, isn't it?
I don't know. But on our side of where
Do
we
they
are
play
in
everyone home and
England,
away?
I don't think
In
they do.
Australia?
No, they don't. I don't
They don't
think.
play
Do they
30
not?
games, do they? No.
How do they do it then?
I don't know. Can we find out? El Stato, can we find that out?
Find out before the news
But
section.
we've got a decision to make. Are we going to go one way, where we have 14, 15, 16 teams in the league, we play each other twice a year with the Challenge Cup, and commit to the best possible club competition we can, or are we going to reduce that and go international? We can't do both. We have to find... We've got to make a decision sooner or later.
We won't reduce the club games unless internationally there is a commitment to international rugby league, because the only way that's going to happen is all the nations agree, yeah, we're going to do a bigger international calendar. And the reason for that is if you turn around to teams like Castleford, teams that ain't got a lot of money, the 2 Hull teams will be fine, Leeds will be fine, Wigan will be fine. But the teams that ain't got a lot of money, that are relying on the gate every week to fund the club, they're not going to turn around and say, oh yeah, we'll happily get rid of 3 fixtures at home. They're not going to do it.
They need the money.
So just on the NRL, I know, just going back slightly. So there's 17 teams if you include the Dolphins from this season. Each team plays 24 games across 27 rounds, so there's 3 bye weeks. Excuse me. Play total of 24 matches, some teams twice, others once. Bit like the NFL, where you don't play some teams, same as baseball, or as it was, you used to not play everybody, but now you do. But anyways, that's how it works.
I never knew that about
So they play less rounds, they don't have a Challenge Cup. And then what they do have is they have slightly bigger squads in some circumstances, and then they have Origin and things like that. But it's a bit of a moot point because we're talking bigger term, but
Yeah.
for me, it just keeps... Every time I look at the game, and there was other points on the actual game, like Jez needs the plaudits for standing up and having a great game. My biggest worry coming out the back of the Ashes is that I've seen comments online repeatedly about why are people talking about Mikey to NRL. If there's a player that can go and have a good chance of going well, it's Jez. And that's from Aussies online, not from like...
Well, we've been talking, why was Jez not in the running for Man of Steel? Why was it Mikey when arguably...
Because it's a flawed system.
Yeah,
that
we know
rewards
that,
people
but
wrong.
we all noticed that Jez has had the better season and at the minute is the better player. So, yeah, how to add to the game? I know we've got a few points to get through, haven't we?
For me, I thought it was both hookers that needed the plaudits at the end of the game. I thought it was Harry Grant and Jez Litton were the best player for each team. I thought Harry Grant was deserving of his man of the match, and I thought that Jez Litton is well deserving of all the plaudits he's getting.
So what about... we'll move on then away from the game. What about the series? Player of the series for
Sorry.
Australia.
I had one more point on the game. It's bigger picture stuff, sorry.
He's your brother, mate. He's going to tell you off,
Is he going to tell me off?
probably.
Sorry.
No Christmas present.
Just in relevance to what it means to trying to grow the sport and talking about what it means when you go to a dead rubber when you've already lost. It was the worst viewed game of the series from a TV point of view. We had an average of 627,000 people and we peaked at 800,000, whereas the averages for Everton and Wembley were 818k, 837k a piece. So their averages were better than the peak for this weekend.
Have they got the percentages?
And the peak was 930 for Everton and 972,000 for Wembley. So the viewing was a lot better. However, in terms of viewership of the international sport on Rugby League on free-to-air TV, it has seen an increase and it is better. So it's not all doom and gloom, but it does go to show that a lot of people turn around and went, well, it doesn't really matter this week, does it? And it clashed with the mighty Hull City. It clashed with England, Union and Australia and stuff like that.
Fair enough. But on the whole, better figures is a plus.
It's what we want, innit?
Yeah.
Any little positive we can take, then I think we've got to build on those little positives. So yeah.
So you've already given yours. Your players of the test, player of the test, England player of the test.
England player of the test.
We'll go this test and then we'll go for the series.
This test was Jez.
Yeah.
And for them, it was, as Josh has already alluded to, Harry Grant.
I've gone exactly the same. I've got it written down here. Grant for them. Grant was the best player on the pitch for me, and Jez was the best in an England shirt. Biggest disappointment, KKP, of the game.
In terms of the players of the test, yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
So for the series,
The disappointment one, I actually have put Mikey, stroke Brimson, stroke KPP, and Brimson's harsh. He got
it is a
injured.
bit harsh.
Just still disappointed.
I had
though.
Mikey
not a
and
disappointment
Burgess on
as
my
in-
shortlist.
It was a disappointment that he got injured. Is that what you?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the first thing that come to mind because I thought it messed with what could have had half a chance, which obviously we didn't in the end with the result. And then I am actually torn between Mikey and KPP, and I think KPP I actually think has offered nothing across the series, which we'll talk about in a second. But on the day was very poor, and I was very unimpressed with what he didn't offer. But I don't want to miss the chance, even as a Rovers fan that defends him all the time, to mention that it's only fair that when Mikey gets the plaudits, we mention that even by him being put in the wrong position and a little bit being left out to dry by Wayne and the decision, I do think he had a poor performance by his own standards. He will look back and there are a couple of things he could have done better, challenging some of the high balls coming through, maybe a bit better sticking his shoulder in.
It was the Hudson Young try for me that bugged me a little bit, where it was a clear, for me, Young wanted to get that ball. Mikey just, I'm not going to say let him, because that's not the right term to say, but he didn't commit to it as much as I think he might have done in a Rover shirt.
I'll be honest, Josh.
Don't
I
know if
think you
that's
need
true.
to take your black and white specs off.
If I
I
kept
think you've
going,
been bang out of order.
if I kept going down my list, I was disappointed with Smith's kicking across the hole.
Yep.
I felt he only had some good and then mostly average kicks. He's meant to be in there for his kicking prowess. It wasn't particularly on show for me on Saturday. I felt again that you have to knock on your halfbacks. You can't come out of a 3-test series and only score 2 tries after 3 games. Now, people can point around and say, "Oh well, William scored one." But he didn't set any up, did he?
It was right place, right time for his try as well.
Fair play to him for being there in the right place, right time, and a pin perfect kick from Jez, but he didn't create any. Our 2 hookers created and scored both tries this
I
test.
suppose across the board, I'm disappointed with most players. Is probably what I'm saying.
I'm just disappointed with this series, like from an England performance perspective, and not necessarily an effort perspective. I think I can't knock any players in terms of effort, and I never will, because you get on a rugby pitch, play rugby league at any level, I'm not going to knock you for your effort, but just in general, I'm disappointed to now figure out and have it put in front of me as to how big that gap really is.
Did anybody listen to Jamie Peacock's comments before the game where there was talking about effort based? I think there was him, James Graham, Sam Burgess, and Chappers. And you had a picture with him,
did,
a little fanboy.
yeah.
No,
Jamie,
he asked for a selfie with Craig off the bragging rights.
oh, fair enough.
Just to correct.
Makes sense.
Jamie Peacock, they was talking about all the effort's definitely been there, and Jamie Peacock come up with, it's like clapping a fish for swimming. Like, it's a given. You walk on a rugby pitch, it's a given. Your effort, your 100% commitment to the cause.
Oh yeah,
So-
I'm saying it should.
No,
be
I'm
there.
not saying, but it was quite a funny comment, to be honest.
It's just there
Some
will be
people
some
do,
people
yeah.
that'll turn around and say he's not trying hard enough or he's not putting enough effort in, and I don't think I've ever watched any team of rugby, any team of players play rugby and not put effort in. Even bloody 2 years ago with FC when we got dicked every week, there was still effort going in. It was just misplaced.
Yeah.
Like, it's. So I'll never knock them for that. But yeah, the disappointment for me, I'm not going to pick a player. I'm just going to say learning
Overall.
how big that gap is.
I don't think... I'm not disappointed that...
Oh, but also Mikey.
I'm not disappointed that we lost, because I didn't expect us to win. I just don't think we've given... we haven't shown the best version of ourselves that
Definitely
we could have done.
not.
So I would have...
But back to what Josh says, how can you when you're not playing enough games? I mean, even if you look at people like James Graham over the course of his career with England, how many caps did he get for England and Great Britain? We're talking like what, 50 odd, maybe?
It wouldn't have been Great Britain then, would it?
No, but international caps, he would have maybe got 50-ish. I would imagine. I don't know. But then I'm listening to a thing the other day with Joe Marler on it for England. He played over 100 games for England. Never scored a try. Which is the funny side of
I
it.
don't with that.
Yeah.
I don't want to fact check you, but I thought Marler finished like on an annoying 97 games for England.
I said about 100, didn't I?
Over 100, you said.
Did I?
Yeah.
Around over 100.
54, James Graham for
I thought you were going
Great
to say
Britain
Marler then.
and England. No. Joe Marler was up towards 100. But yeah,
Up towards over 100.
up towards over 100. Yeah.
So over the series, then have we got an Aussie player of the year, an England player of the series, an England player of the series?
Grant did
Yeah.
it in all 3 for me.
Grant and Jez.
Yeah.
I got Grant and Knowles.
Yeah.
I think
I can see
Morgan
why.
Knowles
I
has
didn't
been-
see as much from Knowles though. Obviously, I only watched the second half of this game, but I didn't see as much from Knowles in the Leeds game as I did definitely in the first
He was
two.
a bit quieter, but I still think he put in a shit.
I've got Grant
Put
and
in a
Jez,
shit.
but I can understand why you
Shift.
picked Knowles, and I would have Knowles in my top 3, I would believe. But I just think, for me, if there was a player that exemplified that, not just putting effort on the field, because they all did, but somebody that pretty much every moment of the game, even in the second test when he was out on his feet, that was like, I still think I can win this game even though I'm 20 points down, it was Jez every time. Whereas every other player on that pitch at some point, I felt dropped off a tackle, looked fatigued, and I don't know, it's just that 99 versus 100% thing. And I know it's hard for me coming from red and white glasses on, but Jez does deserve everything that's come. He was, for me, the player that did the most for England these 3 games.
I can't argue with that. No. We've got to talk about it because there's been a lot of talk, pretty much throughout the series, and it's always been something that's crept up. Wayne as the coach?
No.
Well,
No.
we know no for,
Well, you
for
asked.
our opinion. No,
Yeah, you did ask.
I didn't finish a sentence off how I should have done. For the World Cup.
No.
If not, who?
So Wayne has come out and made his comments that he fully expects to be in the role for the World Cup. So there's no, that's his take at the end of the game on Saturday.
Believes he's the right man for the job.
Believes he's the
was
right
his
man for the
words.
job. Now,
After that,
I dropped you all a message a couple of days ago saying, rumour on the grapevine, Sam Burgess is the man. Now, look, I can't say where it's come from, but it's just flying around now that looks,
gathering momentum.
it's gathering
So
momentum.
you've been on Reddit.
I didn't get it from there. I got it from, and I can't say, but his name rhymes with Bam Burgess. All right. But that's the first one. But then today, just to put it in your minds as you discuss it, gents, the big one that's come out in the news today is about Michael Maguire. Now, if you've seen this today,
Don't like it.
Yeah, I'd seen that.
not only gathering momentum as well, but he's currently doing a little tour of England, meeting with teams, seeing how the English game's going,
Not very well.
Not well.
just to add some fuel to the fire.
I don't know what it is. I just it's the same with Tuchel for England. I don't like it. English manager, English team.
Who dat? Who's Tuchel?
The
Former
German
Chelsea
guy that
manager.
does the England football.
Oh, that was a guy for Dragon's Den. Sorry.
No, I
It's for you.
I know there's a lot of arguments of best credentials for the job, all that sort of stuff, but I do really get in it with, if it's an English team, it should be an English manager. You're not going to get the most passion out of an English team, and they're like raise their levels of like pride to play for their country unless you're actually from that country.
You're not from Canada?
I know I'm not, but I'm half Canadian,
Oh, okay.
and I have a passion and a desire.
Half
and a
doing some strong
connection.
lifting there, isn't it?
Yeah. No, but I have a desire. Like Tuchel's got no connection to England, and Madge's got no connection to England. Do you know what I mean? All right, so I'll rephrase then. You need to have a connection.
I could not
to that
resist. I'm
company.
sorry. It was an
I
easy
di-
dig.
I
It was an easy
disagree.
dig. I apologise.
I disagree. If you're a good coach, you will get the best out of your players. It's as simple as that.
I honestly think there's one man for the job. Lee Radford.
He's not going to leave you in the end.
No, he's
Not
not,
now.
because there's too much money in it. That is tongue in cheek, but I do think he'd do a better job than Wayne.
So what does Lee
Don't
Radford
disagree.
do well as a head coach
Pride.
at Super League? What does he do? He instills pride into a team. He makes you
I thought you meant
defensively.
he organises Pride Night Out.
He makes you defensively very, very strong. But most importantly, he doesn't pretend to be something he's not. So he's not a big attacking-minded person. So he builds teams based on big forwards that work hard, and then allows his outside backs and his half backs to perform. So that then depends on picking the right people. And there's a reason why Hull had success under him when you had a dominating pack and a good hooker, and you was able to pass it out to half backs and wingers and centres that knew how to score tries. Then it went to pot when you got injuries and you started losing some of that grunt up front. There's a reason now that's why he's such a good defensive coach in Union, because he knows how to get the best out of players defensively. If he was the coach for this squad, we don't know if he'd, for this series, sorry, we don't know if he'd do any better, what team he would pick. But he's still only got the same crop of players available.
That's where the problem lies. I think the only thing for Wayne is all of that. The downside what Wayne had, because there's no one more wears more pride than John Wayne. You can see what it means to him. It means absolutely everything to him. For me, he keeps getting the team selection wrong. And that's the big downfall for me with him.
I don't get it from him either. Like I listened to some of the behind the scenes stuff, you know, when he was talking to the team in the dressing room and that. And I expect when I'm listening to an international coach address an international team and try and G them up and get that pride into them, I expect to get like tingles on my arms. I get nothing from Sean
Like we
Wayne.
got from Sam Luckley.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he'd
Right.
do a better job.
So we've got the warning. We've got to cut. One answer from each of us. You've got one choice. One person can be that coach. Who is it from each of you?
Can I go last?
No, you got to go first.
If oh god, I don't know why I'm going to say it, but I am going to go with Sam Burgess, and it's much akin to what I said about Southgate. Not the best at club level. I think he'd do a fantastic job internationally.
I'm going to go outside the box. I'm sorry, it's not a one man. It's two men for the job, and it's Lee Breeze and Andy Last.
Paul Rowling.
Madge.
Bragging Rights is proudly sponsored by Comscaf. Hull's own Comscaf have been keeping things safe and steady for over 30 years, providing professional scaffolding services nationwide. If you need a team you can trust for your next project, big or small, head to comscaf.co.uk or give them a call on 01482 782 181.
It's you, mate.
Where's Craig?
Who's Craig?
The union guy.
Oh, I thought he was a guest.
Chappers, mate.
Chappers. Time for some news from around the Rugby League world.
What we got this week?
Well, after
Is there out this week?
there's quite a bit actually, and after what was a disappointing Saturday and a disappointing series overall, in regards to the Ashes, obviously, if you did get up and you did get a chance to watch, it was a much better game on the early hours of Sunday morning in the Pacific Cup final, where New Zealand, spoiler alert here, New Zealand did beat Samoa 36-14. It was a much closer game than that scoreline
I was
suggests.
just going to say, I've watched it and the scoreline doesn't reflect the game in the slightest.
And I think when I said last week in the preview, this is probably your last chance before Christmas, before the Boxing Day games, and before next year to get a proper Rugby League fix in. It was a good way to bow out the end of this season.
It was a cracking way to finish. And it was, I thought it wasn't going to be New Zealand's day, you know. The way they was attacking that line and just couldn't break them in that first half. They clicked in the second half more, didn't they?
But out towards
yeah.
the end, that's all it was.
But yeah, really good way to finish the Rugby League season off.
Yeah, and Samoa are some team, definitely some team. But in years to come, my guess, low hanging fruit, is that Samoa is going to be up there with New Zealand, Australia as one of them teams that you fear for a prolonged period.
Just going right off topic, your top 4 countries in the world, rank them.
Oh, I quite liked Jamaica. That was a good holiday.
Shut up, you. No, for the World Cup next
Well,
year.
you didn't say
all right,
that.
I know.
Why don't you wait till I mention the World Cup in
Go
the
on then.
news and name all 10 teams, and then you can rank them?
I've only been to
All right.
4 countries.
Why don't you tell us that you're going to talk about the
England,
World
Wales,
Cup?
Scotland. What?
Why didn't you tell us you were going to talk about the World Cup?
I did
didn't you?
before. It's just because he was late.
Sorry.
In that similar vein, staying over that side of the world, there was also the Women's Pacific Cup final that played before that in the early hours.
Can I put my fingers in my ears because this one I haven't seen, but it is on my watch list.
Yeah,
No,
just let me
tell him.
say this first. So the Gillaroos beat the Ferns. Yeah, so Australia beat New Zealand 40-8. Not as good a game as the men's in terms of the closeness.
Maybe I will watch it then.
But
Yeah, there's no point, mate.
still a good end to the year and some good sport. And good to see the women's sport still growing. The women's teams across there, there's something special. They are good.
Different gravy, aren't they?
They are different gravy. So, the 2026 World Cup is now ready to go, and the 10 teams that have qualified can now be named.
Where we're ranking them?
Well, I've done them alphabetically, and then you can ask your question. So, the 10 teams that we'll be seeing next year in the World Cup are Australia, the Cook Islands, England, Fiji, France, the Lebanon, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Samoa, and Tonga.
The Lebanon.
Who's the Lebanon?
It's like when Steve used to call us the Rovers.
So
What's wrong
there's
with that?
no other
Meet me.
home nation. Just England.
The England, yeah.
The England. That's disappointing.
Disappointing from a UK, Great Britain, whatever
Yeah.
point of view, but in terms of
They're
the
not
quality
good
of the
enough, then they're
teams
not good enough
and the
to go.
qualifying process they've gone through, them teams aren't good enough. Wales, Ireland, and Scotland not good enough. Are not as good as the 10 teams that are even now. The 10 teams that are there. Sorry.
It is what it is.
Who are your top 4 at the minute? In what order?
I think Australia are the best team.
Yep.
I don't think we saw the best of them. I then do believe it's Samoa next. I then think it's New Zealand. New Zealand, who very nearly were relegated out of the Pacific Cup last year, who have bounced back to win it this year. I think they're an up and down topsy-turvy team. I think they are third. And then I do believe England are probably 4th. But I do think it's a toss-up between us and Tonga on the day.
I can't. The only one I disagree, I put New Zealand second over Samoa. Just
Yeah, that's how I
maybe
had it.
swayed by Sunday's result. But yeah, I'm 4th and 5th. I can't really decide between them. So and when it's
exactly
down
how I
under
had
next
it,
week,
yeah.
next year, sorry, I don't know if England make the semi-final.
Probably won't do. Me and Lauren had this discussion, and Tonga and Samoa, especially with the expansion in the NRL to now include the Perth Bears and later the PNG Hunters, Chiefs, sorry. Them countries are just going to grow because their players are going to get NRL exposure on a weekly basis. So give it 5-10 years, teams like PNG, Fiji, Tonga and Samoa are going to be in the top 5, undoubtedly.
I do actually think in that 10, it's easier to do who I think the bottom 4 is, because I think there's 6 teams that maybe not the top 2 or 3, but I think in that middle patch, I think you can easily throw in Tonga, PNG on the day. I think towards the bottom, you've definitely got France. We haven't seen a lot of them recently. Fiji haven't been as good as the other teams from down that area, same as Cook Islands, and I think the Lebanon as well.
The Lebanon. France have always been a disappointment for me, especially since Catalan and obviously Toulouse have been in Super League a little bit. Their players seem to play together a lot more than other teams do, because a lot of them play for the same team or the same 2 teams. And the fact that they've not been able to gel, maybe for a result of lack of games, a bit like England, but the fact that they can't gel as an international team when a lot of them play together at club level is a bit of a disappointment, really.
Well, here's one for you history buffs. The French Rugby League has been struggling since World War II, when, as part of occupying the country from the Germans, Rugby League was sort of outlawed and moved away, and then Rugby Union was pushed as the sport to play, and it's never fully recovered since then.
Okay.
I didn't know
How much time
that.
do you spend on Google through the week?
I asked Jeeves everything.
I didn't know that, but my dad would have done.
Yep. I'm not your dad. James, do you got a different top 4 to
That's
us?
not what he was telling me earlier.
Your top 4?
I like doing it the alphabetical way, to be fair.
So your top 4 are Australia, Cook Islands, England, Fiji.
Yeah.
In that order.
Reversed.
But I've put Australia with an O. I've just put Oz. And the Lebanon starts with a T, so... But yeah...
No, I would differ from Josh, so I would take England out and I'd put Tonga in.
Fair.
But I agree with Dean, I would have New Zealand second. So it'd be Australia, New Zealand, Samoa, Tonga.
I think that's fair, don't you, Vince?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it'd be PNG, then Fiji, then the Lebanon, then England.
9th. You got Cook Islands,
8th.
10th.
Cook Islands, then France.
He's pulling your leg. Next news.
Wondered what that was.
The Bradford Bulls this week have announced a new signing. So ex-Hull FC young player Connor Wynne has signed a 1-year deal
For the Bradford.
for the Bradford.
The Bradford. He was rumoured to be on his way to you guys for most of the season.
I think it was he had a
rules-
clause to say that if Bradford came up to Super League, he would go back to Bradford.
There is a lot in the rumour.
I heard other room.
Yeah, there's a lot in the room at the minute about paying players off and things like that, and I believe he comes under that banner as well, but they are just rumours at this moment in time. But either way, we won't be seeing him in this city unless he comes playing on his visiting days, because he will be playing for Bradford Bulls next year.
Putting together a tidy little squad.
They are putting together a good squad, and look, the thing with Connor Wynne is he's an exciting young prospect that I don't think anybody's really got a chance to have a look at properly. We've never really got to see him ingrained into a team at Super League level for prolonged periods, but his name has cropped up for a long time, and usually, for us fans of the black and whites and the red and whites, you do tend to hear about these players that are bouncing between the two, and it's, oh, Rovers desperately wanted the Kent boys, but we paid them more to keep them, and and all that. These things come back and forth. He's one of them names that's been on my lips for a number of years, so it'd be good to see how he goes.
I read his interview in Hull Ave, and I think it was on Hull Ave last week, and he was saying he didn't know how good he had it at Hull when he was there, and I think he's had to do some growing up. He didn't say that, I don't think, but he's had to do some growing up at Fev, and I think it's put him in good stead now, and hopefully he can make that step up back to Super League and does well, because you want to see a young lad do well. I know he's playing for a different team, but you want to see kids that are coming through in our city go on and do well in rugby. So I hope he does well. Obviously not against us, but yeah.
But you want to see him do
Definitely.
well.
Against them.
They always ex-players always come back and have a good. They might not win, but they always seem to have a good game. I don't know if you feel the same when.
Do you know I used to hate? 2 players, Tommy Lee and Craig Hall. Both of them, whenever they came back to the MKM, they both shone.
Yeah, Craig Hall.
Craig Hall always did.
In
yeah.
that second stint he had, where we threw him
Where
in
when you come
quite
back
late
from
on.
Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Craig Hall less. Tommy Lee was one of them where, like, I mean, I remember him scoring in front of the South Stand. and practically marching halfway up the stairs, just giving people
It was for Celtic Crusaders. He scored in front of the South Stand, which would have been the winner, but I think we kicked a late penalty goal to win it. And with a few minutes left, he scored in front of the South Stand, and you thought he just won Super League.
It was
He
full Mikey Lewis.
And then some on top of it. Yeah, I remember
the
that.
one that stands out for me is there's been players that have gone across the city, obviously, and this year's a bad example. Aiden coming to you's probably had a poor season. We got the better end of the deal in a way, whereas I wouldn't say Jack Brown had his best games ever, for us against you. But the player taking us aside that always seemed to be just on fire every time he played us, and it did always hurt, was Josh Charnley. And that's because we took him on loan as a youngster that Wigan knew was going to be a superstar. Scored his 5 tries in 4 games for us on loan. Went straight into a Wigan team where he was a mainstay winger for 4 or 5 years before he went off and tried his hand at different bits and bobs. And he just always seems, and even to this day now,
Even at Lee, I was just going to say,
he just seems to. He always grabs a meat pie, and he always seems to be on fire.
Right in thinking he scored his first try for you guys against us. I seem to recall in front of the South Stand, one Derby gate.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Another player that did something similar for us, Paul McShane. He came to us on loan for a little bit
when he was at Leeds.
Yeah,
I never realised he was with you.
Yeah. And he put in a good stint. There was a lot of fans wanted us to keep him. Obviously we didn't, and he went on to Leeds and especially made his name at Cast, didn't he? But he's still playing at York, I believe.
As you say, he's one of them that you're building a team around with a good experience when you want a good old head in the middle that'll stick up for younger players.
They've got Josh Griff as well and Vaughan coming in at York. So yeah, good shout that, because I did forget about that.
Just touching on Brown. Brown's left, hasn't he? Jack Brown left you guys, or gone out on loan, or
No,
not that I'm aware of.
stop starting rumours.
No, I'm sure I heard something. Someone said something about Jack Brown leaving.
Well, there
and
was lying.
going
I
on
did
loan
hear a
somewhere.
rumour that he was going to York.
Well, let's
But
move
it
on
was
in the
a rumour,
news, because
so-
here's a rumour for you
Go on
that you
then.
may not have heard. Spotted hanging around Salford, not just the city, spotted hanging around the club these last couple of weeks. Nobody seems to know what role he's in. Nobody seems to know what he's doing there. But Carly Luluai is spending all of his time at Salford, and we don't know why.
Sale Sharks.
No, as in when the Salford boys are in, when we're having press conferences about what they're doing with paying the HMRC bills, Carly's there.
That's a
Very left field.
And this is not just like someone's texted me and I've heard it. This is like on the website, Snowman News today.
So you're giving us news without actually any context or content.
Well, that's content. Carly Luluai's been spotted at Salford.
No, but there's no. It's not like
the context is he might be getting a role at the new
he
formed
might
Salford
already have-
team.
Yeah, but it's not news, is it? It's just rumours.
Let's move on. Couple of more changes and
I
move
think
around.
it's just a deep fake.
It is a deep fake. It's actually me. Huddersfield Giants have released Elliot Wallace, the young winger that had spent time at Rovers in the past. I've already got that. Release time. Let's just put it this way, going forward. If somebody puts it in that group and I've already got it, don't worry, I've got it.
Okay.
So starting again, Elliot Wallace, ex-Rovers winger, guy who's bounced around a couple of clubs, has been released 2 years early from his Huddersfield Giants contract by mutual consent. There's nowhere reporting where he's going next. There is a good player there. There's a player that, look, I don't want to bag on the guy, and we know him personally. I've always struggled to see whether he's Super League level or not. I think there is definitely a high level club in the Championship level player there, someone that can do a really good job, and somebody that with the right team around him could do a job as a winger in Super League. I just think Huddersfield being injury hit this year has not helped, and I think he's had a couple of brain farts along the way, a couple of dodgy mistakes, and he just doesn't feel like the right fit for him. So it'll be interesting to see where he turns up, because I don't think you've heard the last of him.
hopefully not.
Obviously, hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Looks like Wigan have found the way they're going to replace Brad Dupree. We know he's going out on his 1 year deal to Toulouse. What did I say? Brad Dupree. Who's Brad
You're
Dupree?
getting Brad O'Neill and Tyler Dupree
I am,
mixed
aren't I?
up.
Yeah,
It's like me
both a
thinking
bit grubby
Dupree
though,
played
aren't
at
they? So-
13.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyways, Wigan have agreed a 1 year deal with Giants prop Oliver Wilson. They've had to pay a fee to do this. Oliver Wilson is one of these names that Huddersfield Giants fans have been telling us for years is an absolute superstar, and they've been saying if he didn't play for us, he would be up there as one of the best players in Super League. He has had time playing for England. He played a mid-season test against France last year, and all the comments online are saying just you wait till he's in that Wigan team. Honestly, he's an upgrade on who you've got rid of, and people will be saying next year, wow, Wigan have done it again. I think the example I saw today was, this is a Wardle-style signing. Which, let's agree, Wardle has now become one of the best centres in the league under his time at Wigan.
Well, let's see how he goes then.
So interesting to see there.
If he's not going to do it at Wigan, he's not going to do it anywhere, is he? Because he's in the best possible place, especially under Matty Peters for forwards, at least. So we'll see how he goes.
Hitting the right age as well. Peak for a forward. I think he's coming up to 28 now, something like that. Just the right age.
But like Josh said, he's been one of those names where he seems to have been around forever. Maybe to people in the Rugby League but he seems to have been around forever, and he's always one of those players where you know he's always going to give 100% on the effort. I think he was talking about earlier, Jimmy, Oliver Wilson falls into that category.
Yeah.
Admittedly, sometimes the quality might not have been there from him, but there was always the effort and the determination from every time I've seen him play anyways.
I'm sure there was talk back end of the season. Leeds was in for him. I'm sure there was a report on Hull Live that Hull was interested in him.
I heard Hull was in for him because one of the rumours that was flying around some of these WhatsApp groups of ex-players and things like that was a mistake that they'd seen Ollie, and it was Gildart to Hull, and it had to be corrected. It was when we was at Humberside, and I'd said that's wrongly reported. It's Wilson, the one that's been shopped around or is looking at his options. It's not Ollie Gildart, it's Oliver Wilson.
But yeah, hope he goes well anyways.
So next bit of news, nothing officially to charge the person with anything wrongdoing here. Not saying there is going to be anything, but the RFL have said they are now looking into and addressing the Sam Lasoni social media comments that he made about Sean Wayne after the second Ashes test. So I think this will be another news story that we'll probably find more out about in a couple of weeks' time. They are going to do an investigation, but not a formal one. Look, the guy made a comment. I don't think what he was saying was out the realms of what a lot of people were thinking, but I do think he's used a term that can be considered a homophobic slur in what he said on social media.
Spell check, mate. He meant fatty.
Right. And I think that's where he may be in a bit of trouble.
I can see maybe a fan. I'm hoping not ban.
We've been proven wrong when you signed Hardacre for last season and he didn't get into any trouble. So these young troublemakers that you keep, these bad boys of Rugby League that
he's not young.
That we
young
know
compared
about.
to me.
He's not been in any trouble that we know about. But it's fine if Lasoni does end up with some sort of ban. I have just had a text through saying that apparently FC and CAS are in for Sam Esse, so we'll be fine.
I hope he doesn't. No, because we spoke on here about him being able to take the pressure off SAS, and with us not having SAS early on for the first 2-3 months of the season, we need him on the pitch because we need that big bopper. We need someone who can break the line along with the likes of Harvey Hill and
I'm really excited to see Hill.
Have they been watching a different
Liam Knight
Sony to us?
He is a big bopper.
He runs in with his elbow, doesn't he?
Yeah. Gotta get through somehow, won't you?
I hope he don't get a ban. But I can see a slap on the wrist and a bit of a fan coming.
Basically the Ben Cockayne of your team. You know, he says naughty things online. Bit of a troubled bat. Anyways.
Why didn't I do it?
I don't think I ever saw you break a line at Lambeth.
It's because neither of my centres ever passed me the ball.
Because they broke through. Didn't need you.
Yeah.
And I wasn't fast enough to keep up.
Probably would be now.
I was then. That's all I had.
Final bit of news for this week's episode, and to close off and to finish on Hull and Rovers news, because we might as well, because that's what the podcast is all about. But good news coming out of both clubs to come into the Christmas period. Both clubs announcing strong sales for memberships. FC have announced this week that they've gone over the 6,000 memberships sold for the next season, and Hull KR announcing they've gone over 10,000 memberships sold for next season. So good numbers coming out the club so far, and looking into hopefully probably a few more sold coming in to the back end before Christmas, and then, you know, keep seeing them figures go up.
I'm a little disappointed we're only at 6.
That's because of people like me.
Secret Rovers fans.
No. I always buy I always just pay mine. Just pay it all instead of paying monthly. And I'm waiting until November payday, so I haven't bought mine yet.
Fair enough.
Sorry, 6,001 sold for FC.
I just thought, I think we sold just over 8 last year, and I I just expected a bit more of a boom.
Look, I brought this up.
I've
for
no
this
doubt we
point.
will probably get 8, 9, pushing. I don't think we'll get to 10, but I think we'll get 9. But yeah, I just thought we'd have had that boom.
You've actually took, because I mentioned it not to try and point out that it was different. It's to be expected. Winning the treble, so on. We had really strong sales last 2 seasons, and it was always going to be up there. Truthfully, I was a bit shocked that he was only at 6k, just because, in your words, but I think a lot of fans' words, you wasn't disappointed with the way the season ended. You wasn't disappointed with the way the team came on, particularly after the season before. You've got a lot to look forward to. You've already announced potentially very good signings, and you have got players that you didn't see the best of last year for injury. I thought you might be pumping them up a few K more than that.
I'm more excited coming into this season than I have been for years as an Hull fan, and I thought more fans would have been. But
the thing
we'll see. We might have a big.
The thing is for you guys, it was a no-brainer. You didn't even have to advertise it. You won the treble. You don't have to advertise. Are you going to buy a season pass? Because everyone's just going to buy a season pass, aren't they? Like, just makes sense. For us, I ain't seen a lot. I've seen the video that we released offering it, but I ain't seen a push.
I keep getting emails. I do get emails.
But you have to be a member to get them. You have to be signed up to get them. I mean, I ain't seen a push anywhere outside of that.
Okay.
Like,
well, I
there
wouldn't
needs
know
to be
that
a big,
anyway.
like, I think they should be paying advertising on Instagram and X and all that sort of stuff. Pay for them and really push them out. But I ain't seen any of that. I think we could get more. But
I think we will. We will get more.
oh, we definitely get more.
Yeah.
But at least one more.
We were.
Capped off at you.
Lano's got past this season. Well, he's got 2. Him and his last coming.
6,002.
3.
Jesus.
Is that the end of the news, Josh?
Could make some up if you want.
No.
Throw some more in there.
I've
Keep
got
it
a bit of
going.
news.
Go on then.
I might be going down. It's not real news, but I might be going down under for the World Cup next year with the Canadian Masters team. Can't wait. What are you laughing at?
I'm not snoring.
No, I think not just off the back of that, but me trying to get into that side of things now as someone that's old and can't properly play rugby anymore, and I don't want to lessen myself.
That's not
to
because you're
union.
old.
I've been looking at Masters for a while, and when I was looking to get into that, I was surprised pleasantly at how many Masters teams we've now got in and around Hull. We've got the 2 in Hull, we've got Cott, we've got Beverley.
It's
sure
very
there's another one that I can't remember.
It's
the
very
name of,
popular.
but it is. Oh yeah, 2 in Hull. Myton classes as 1 in Hull.
What's the age just for people who are 35?
If you're over 35, yeah. And it's
What about if you're 33?
no,
But no, it's my serious question on that is, so it's great news. Hopefully you do get in. I know I was joking around on the group chat the other week about they do need strong water boys, and I do think you are that man.
That's another thing I didn't see in the group.
But no, on a serious note, we want you to get in, and anything we do to help you would be great. Why are Canada there? Is it not just the 10 teams that
No, so
are playing the World Cup, or
it's
is
a
it?
Masters festival. So I know that with Canada they'll be playing Tonga, Australia, and then, like what you like, a couple of club games as well. So it's not a tournament as such. You don't have to qualify for it. It's
It's like
just
Rhino's Challenge at Butlins, but in Australia.
But like old people, not kids. So yeah, and I think there should be more people that get into Masters. It's
If people are playing rugby league, whatever age group, whatever ability, just play rugby league. And
yeah,
it's
the thing for
it's
me
good.
is, and I think we've all experienced it, and this is why this podcast's good for us, is since stopping playing rugby league, I don't get that fix anymore, you know, like I see in my mates going to the pub after training, going to the pub after a game and all that sort of stuff. So I think if you are missing that, if you've played rugby league in the past and you are missing that sort of environment, get in there, go play for, not Myton, but someone, go play for one of the teams.
yeah,
Myton.
You're a Myton, like,
I'm ex-Myton,
aren't you?
yeah.
So yeah, I don't like them.
But yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, obviously, I went back a couple of months ago, and I didn't realise how much I'd missed that social side of things. Like, yeah,
What about us?
no, but you know what I mean.
that's
Like
the
in a rugby changing room.
Oh,
like,
you like being naked in a changing room?
I do
get
like
it.
being naked in a changing room, but that's besides the point.
That's a different sport, but that's why I'm enjoying playing vets football.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
So
it's
it's that social side
It's
of
the
things.
social side of it.
we meet up every week, and that's absolutely brilliant. It's been so good for my mental health, and I know it has for Josh's and probably you two guys as well.
This podcast?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Oh, well, just three of us then.
Just
We're
us three
FC
then.
fans.
Not for them two this year. Look, your point being, I think it's great. We hope it works out for you. There is a lot of options out there. There are so many different ways you can still be involved in rugby. Hopefully rugby league, not rugby union, but you can. You've got the Masters. You know, Rovers have the walking rugby team, which my old man and Susan play for. There's stuff like that out there that people can do. And so look out, try and play. Let us know if there's ones we haven't mentioned. We keep saying this about the different versions of a sport. Write in the comments, drop us an email, let us know. We'll shout out. We'll come to games if we know about them. And we'll watch
Wheelchair
them.
rugby.
We'll tell other people to come if it's too quick a ticket, you know.
We'd cover more on here.
We'd talk about them because we want to see more and more rugby league, and you know that's what it's all about.
Not walking rugby, though. Not if Susan's playing. It can't be a real game if Susan's playing.
Come on, let's move on.
Go on then. Yeah, so Tribal, so not just this week, but, we'll start with this week. No Rugby League, obviously. England play Serbia. Is that a World Cup qualifier, I think?
Yeah, I'm
this is soccer we're talking about. That is Thursday evening at 7:45. They then play Albania at 5 o'clock on Sunday. I think that's another World Cup qualifier. We've got Eubank Ben, or Ben Eubank, or however they want to fight over that. That's Saturday evening. Ring walk apparently is 10 p.m.
I don't think they fight over whose name goes first.
I reckon
Yeah,
they
they
do.
do.
Though.
No, but that's not why they're fighting on Saturday night. They're fighting as a hotly anticipated rematch of the first fight that was an absolute banger. Right?
It was a banger. No, but my point is, they do fight with a contract discussion, don't
and
they?
there's
So,
money. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But the way you said it,
well, it's written here, Ben Eubank, and I always thought it was Eubank Ben, but whatever.
well,
that
Eubank
is-
won the first one, so I believe Eubank will get the top billed credit.
That is Saturday evening. Ring walk is meant to be 10 a.m, so it'll probably
PM.
be at 11. Sorry,
PM.
PM.
Yeah.
10 p.m.
Don't turn up at 10 a.m.
Get here at 10 a.m. and have an absolute session. By the time they ring walk at 10 p.m, you won't be able to see.
Get here at 10.
If a load
And
of
they'll open
people
at
turn
12.
up here at 10 a.m. and they sell a load of beer, I want commission. But no, it's 10 p.m, but it'll probably be closer to 10:30, I imagine. Don't forget, they've got a TP outside now. You can rent that. So if you want to have an event or a party, I believe you can book that out. Get in touch with Amy on the events team. And then lastly, something that I saw on Instagram the other day, which if you are stuck for something to do on New Year's Eve, they are having a New Year's Eve party here. I think it is free entry. It's going to be probably quite a lot of fun. And hopefully they don't forget to put the ice in the drinks those nights. And yeah, that's about it. That's it for the rest of the year. What?
Always finds a way to just have a dig at the end of something positive, don't
Yeah.
he? You always, yeah.
It's what Jimmy
Can't
does.
just be
He's always
100%
done it.
positive about anything, can you?
No.
No, okay.
Why would I? Did you just call me a Scrooge?
It's like proper, like, you know, like sandwich criticism. Like, Tribal's an amazing place. I actually came yesterday.
But don't
we
talk to
didn't-
Amy because she's...
No, we did
Whatever.
actually come yesterday, but we
So did
didn't
I.
end up coming in
Oh.
because we couldn't get a table because of how busy it was. So, popular place, but then we couldn't sit down to eat, so we had to go elsewhere. That's
Travel's
the type
great,
of thing you
but
do.
not that great because you've
Travel's
not got
that
enough
great, but not that
tables.
great because it's a great place to be.
Yeah, it
and
is.
it's nice when it's busy and
It
we
is
have great
banging.
nights in here.
It is. I'm only kidding.
So we have the small matter of an announcement that was made last week.
Willie Peters winning another trophy.
Possibly.
So many though, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? He won
He
on,
did,
on
he won the
Saturday,
Ashes,
so he
yeah.
won the Ashes. I think he's got 6 trophies this year.
Not done bad, has he?
Is that including the Roger Millward and Clive Sullivan
Roger
Cups?
Wilmord, Clive Sullivan, the 3 proper ones, so that's 5, then he won the Ashes, so 6 trophies.
Well, he might be able to make
two
it-
proper ones and the
The dinner plate.
the dinner plate.
He might be able to make it 7 in February, which is a game we're
Hopefully.
going to talk about.
Just before we get into like the nitty gritty of it, did anybody see the England release of the Poppy shirt? Get yours here.
No.
So England
yeah.
put on, because obviously England played in a different strip on Saturday. They played in a red strip, which was to signify the Poppy for Remembrance Weekend. And it said, buy your shirt here, and then a link. Click on the link. Didn't go to the Poppy shirt. It went to a Dropbox with all the World Club Challenge details on it.
before it was announced.
And that was posted on Twitter. It had the promotion posters, it had the Rovers graphics, Brisbane graphics, you name it, it was in there. And on the posters was the date and the time and the place, which hadn't actually been announced.
At this point, with how poor it is from Rugby League and from the way they manage stuff, I actually think it's on purpose and it's weaponised incompetence. This is actually, it's like a guerrilla marketing campaign. This is how they announce stuff. It has to be, because nobody is that stupid to make the mistakes that keep getting made in this sport.
They really are, though.
Yeah, you've got a point. Got a point.
It's your guys' team that's in it. What I have my own opinions on the venue and things like that, but it's a moot point.
I'm happy with the venue. I am. You know, more fans in means more money for Rovers in the long run. It's more exposure because it'll be more widespread, not just about the ground. But the fact that it's back over in England, you know, credit to Brisbane for agreeing to come over. Everything about it so far, apart from the England poppy shirt / Dropbox, has been massively positive. It was billed as champions v champions at the test at Headingley on Saturday. You know, I've seen in NRL and Australian media, they're pushing it. So
Surely there can't be any money in it for you as a club. Because
we're not daft. We've done so many things right over the course of the past 4 or 5 years that we wouldn't have done something if it didn't benefit us.
I get that, but how many players are Brisbane going to bring over as well as staff? You're looking at, 30 plus people that they're going to bring over, and you're paying for everything.
Are they?
Yeah. Lakin confirmed that Rovers are paying for their travel and their accommodation.
So we have had an incredibly successful year on and off the field. We've had an incredibly successful couple of years, and we don't need to dive into financial details, but we made a lot of money from the Coldplay concerts as well, from some very shrewd business decisions. We are a position as a club where our finances, which are readily available, you can see them if people want to go and dig into them. We're in a wealthy position, we're in a good position, and it doesn't look like we'll make any money from this. The club also appreciates that we're going through an expensive time. We've got people going to Vegas. You know, it's still the end of year, new shirts, new kits coming out, but we're in the middle of a boom, and you can't say no to opportunities like this. So I think it's another thing done well by the club, and sometimes you have to lose money to make money. Yeah. This is promoting our sport again on one of the high stages, and it's promoting it against the team, and it's never been done from Hull before. This hasn't happened to either of our clubs. You know, to answer your first question, I said this on Humberside last week with a couple of jokes as well. I'm pleased it's played in Hull. That's all that matters to me. Of course, I'd love for it to be at Craven Park.
That's what I was going to ask.
But you can get almost double capacity at KC if you do it properly. And we can attract more people. If we can get 8,000 Rovers fans travel across the city to go to it, and we can encourage 4,000 FC fans to come in whatever gear they want, we will then encourage another 10,000 from around Yorkshire and the rest of the country to come, let alone how many people might fly from Australia, even if it's only 1,500 that come across for it. Because these type of things are once in a lifetime opportunity, and we are too quick to be negative about things. If it's the World Cup Challenge in Australia, of course I want to go. The Aussies won't want to come to Hull. Why would they not? Why would they not want to come and watch their team in a World Cup Challenge?
All I want to say is, it wasn't a dig. It was just because Craig mentioned about bringing in more money was a point that I actually don't think you'll be making any money.
Maybe not from the game,
be offsetting.
But yeah.
From my
in the long run.
Sorry. From my point of view, I feel like you're losing home advantage, and I feel like you're looking at you're not looking at the game itself. You're looking at everything else around it, the money, the exposure, and stuff like that. At the end of the day, play it at home. Get that advantage of your crowd in your ground to win a game.
I think they mentioned it last week, though. It's not up to them.
You did mention that to me, but
I don't think it's up to them anyway. And you do have to factor in the fact that if Rovers are paying a very substantial amount of money, you're talking tens of thousands, to bring over an entire team and support staff and pay for their accommodation at what will probably be the Village, which isn't the cheapest place to stay. You've got to try and bring as much in.
You're going to offset the money you're spending by being able to sell nearly 50% more tickets, right? 100% more tickets it'll be actually, because you're almost doubling it out, right?
Not just that, though, because you'll be paying rent.
But also, let's look at as a bigger picture from it. In this city, do we have a purpose-built stadium? Is the stadium fairly modern? Does the stadium host 20,000 plus people? Yes. Great. Now, do we utilise that stadium to its maximum potential? Different discussion. I don't think we do.
No, we don't.
Right?
No.
Do we all say as Rovers fans the atmosphere's terrible? Yeah, we do. But it's never rammed, is it, right? And all Rovers fans, when they finally get to the stadium on Derby Day, they think they outsing the rest of FC. FC fans say they think they sing loudest because little pockets of it happen. Yes, we're going to lose that advantage in the songs, singing, and we're going to lose the closeness of Craven Park. But at the same time, it's not the end of the world. We're trying to attract a worldwide spectacle to our city.
Get that.
And our stadium, there's nothing wrong with Craven Park. But it's a pure capacity thing.
For me, it is just, I'm looking at the game and I'd want my team to have more advantages going into that game. And an advantage for you is Craven Park. It's not the MKM. The MKM is great on Derby Day. It's great when it's full. It can be really, really loud. But at the same time, even when it's full, which he'll know from City, because he goes week in, week out, and it's full most weeks, it can be an absolute library.
It can.
Because
was it weekend?
Yeah,
It can,
because
but it won't be.
No, it might be. Because if they come out on top with you lot, and your fans are not used to sitting where they normally sit, and it's hard to generate an atmosphere, it'll be great at the beginning of the game. It will be absolutely booming, no doubt about that. But if Brisbane come over, start well, put you on the back foot, score an early try, maybe about like what Australia did on Saturday, and then that crowd goes down, it's the perfect environment for Brisbane. But if that was to happen at Craven Park and you've got the East standing full voice, everyone's standing where they're standing, that won't happen. It won't go silent. It won't go
But you
quiet.
say that, but it does.
No,
It's
more
exactly,
chance
it's
at the
exactly what we
stadium.
said about that first Test match being played at Wembley. You are not in a position, I don't think any team really at that stadium is in a position to generate an intense kind of imposing atmosphere. That stadium doesn't deliver that ever for any team. Not us, not at City, no one. If you want to get that home field advantage both on and off the pitch, yes, you should have played it at Craven Park because you're in a position, it's tight, you can intimidate a team with your atmosphere coming out of that East stand. You ain't going to do that at the MKM.
I get it
Different point of view for you then, Dean, because I think I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but it's
from a
the
business
words
point
I'm
of view,
saying,
I get it.
I'm arguing back because it's from a business point of view. The reality is, and this is just little old me, the way it's gone, but it's almost unthinkable that we could get to this point that Rovers could be playing a World Cup challenge. And I've not even started to consider the possibility that we've got a chance against the Broncos team, right? So it's not like I'm writing it off and saying we'll definitely lose regardless, And
I'm not saying you will lose because you're playing at MKM, by the way. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying you are, but my point being is, I'm almost not really bothered because at the same time, I'm going to round off what will be a 12-month period of Rugby League wherein my team has done the unthinkable already by winning the treble.
I get that.
And we then get to play a World Cup challenge in our own city. And of course, there's going to be a slight bit of would be better at Craven Park. But at the same time, and this does help, we aren't playing at your stadium. We're renting it just like you rent it. That's the same. So,
Mate, right? You could. I don't know if you're saying that as a dig. I don't treat.
No,
I don't class that as home. By the way, I never have done.
I'm explaining why I feel this way about it. It's because to me, I still get to see my team in a World Cup challenge. That right now, the only thought I've given it is it's amazing we're doing it. In a month's time, I might go, do we have a chance? And then 2 weeks before, I'll go, I don't think we stand a chance. Or I might go, we do.
Yeah.
Because the World Cup challenge is also a bit poor for me in terms of the fact that you play it so late on that the squads are changed. The treble winning Rovers are not playing the grand final winning Broncos in February.
No, they're not. You guys will have your suitcases ready to fly out to Vegas a few days later as well, won't you?
At the start of last season. They didn't come alive till the second half of the season.
No.
And then they made a run. They did what we over here would call a Leeds Rhinos. Made a late run or a Wigan.
And if you start your season like you did last year and they start their season like they did this,
1 point win against Cass. 1 point win against Broncos.
Yeah, but we'll get a couple of them out the way, so it'll be all right.
I think the point being is,
so.
there's going to be a lot of discussion on it back and forth around, rightly or wrongly. The decision's been made. I'm trying to focus on how excellent it is for the fact that we've managed to keep it in Hull, the fact that the game's happening, and I think when we get to the build-up and we start talking about the chances in the game and what I think is going to happen, we will probably have touch more, and I'll probably be more akin to what you're saying, that we are going to suffer from lack of atmosphere.
Yeah, I think though in terms of creating an event it is the right choice in terms of you want to make it look like a spectacle on TV and all that sort of stuff. You've got the flashing lights, they can get all the lasery shit happening on the pitch and stuff if they want to do that. Like it'll look good on TV.
It does look good, the stadium, when it's full, when it's booming, and it will look good. I'm just looking at it from the match, not the business side
It did make me laugh
of it.
though when Lakin said on Umberside, "Oh, we'll have it all dressed up as Rovers Stadium for the night," and I was like, "No, you won't, mate.
Hey, you never know, mate. Do what I suggested.
They ain't painting
Get
over
some
any
little,
of that."
No,
No,
get
they
some
could have
little roll-up banners.
That's what
like
I've been
I said
asking
about
for.
getting for you guys.
Yeah. So,
All it takes is
but the RFL will
couple of
probably
them.
do that as well because
That was when you said in the group the other day that ain't going to happen because we don't do it.
I think it will.
I actually think, and again, it's just a guess, but I think you're wrong. I think knowing the way that we go to the Great Shakes to do everything that we do, knowing how big of a spectacle this is for Rugby League, not just Rovers, and the fact that it's not like it's in the middle of the season. You know, so there's only, City to consider around that time? Whenever City are playing.
We might play the
we
next
might have played
day.
the week before or whatever, yeah.
We will put a massive crew in, and I think Sky Sports alongside, the RFL, and I think you will see a different look stadium.
Well, look what the RFL did to the stadium, and I know there was no fans in there, but look what they did to dress it up for the grand final. They dressed every inch of that stadium up what they
Gonna
could.
cost a fortune though. That takes a lot out of the positive side of putting for a business perspective, because the amount of money it's going to cost, which is why we don't do it. Like, if the Allams wanted to dress it up the way they dressed it up and pay that money, then fine, crack on.
Don't forget as well, you're hoping for, and we are hoping, but there's a good chance that you're going for a sellout here, right?
It should be.
And this isn't a dig, but when that camera pans around the KC and you're playing anybody, apart from a Rovers derby, there are a lot of empty seats because the stadium's too big. So what happens is it'll pan and it'll go to, I don't know, Asiata's injured and here he is sat here and there'll be 6 spare seats around him and you'll see an advertising board behind him and you'll see a Tigers flag or a Tigers sign. That is going to be hidden anyways because we expect bums to be on just about every seat. So when they talk about dressing it up, it's not about covering all that stuff that's maybe hidden sometimes or that you see in them games. It's about the stuff that's massively on show, which is a bit easier to do if you're draping a big banner at the top of one stand. You're covering the advertising hoarding. So that's why I'm saying bit of bated breath waiting, but I do trust that they will.
I think
what Lakin's saying they will do. They
it'll
will
be
dress it
decked
up.
out in
It'll be
red and
dressed
white.
up
I'm no
more
doubt.
for you in that game than it ever has been for us in a normal
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say.
But I think you'll still see tiger print in the corners, and you won't be covering that up, I don't think.
So, score
see.
predictions, yeah?
Reece Walsh 30, Rovers 0.
Oh, I'm glad I was sat down for that one.
So, done.
What?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
So,
Christmas now.
so that's about it for this week, and pretty much that's about it for our weekly episodes for the season.
Or is it?
Or is it? I just want to take a moment to thank everyone, you listeners, who've watched, shared, supported the pod this year. The response that we've had this year has just been absolutely unbelievable, and it really does mean so much. Seeing them comments, seeing them views. We was doing it to a couple of hundred people last year on audio, and then we've gone onto YouTube this year, and it's gone up to the next level and some. It's been really good. I've enjoyed it.
Oh, so
Most
much
of the
so
time.
you nearly left.
Most of the time. And yeah, so thank you very much for that. We need to big shout out to our sponsor, Alex at Comscaf, for backing us all season, to Tom, Laura and Amy at Tribal, home of the pod. Thanks for having us week in, week out. Now, although this is the end of our weekly run, it might not be the last time you hear from us this year. I can't say too much, but just keep your eyes and ears open.
Mysteries.
As per usual, please remember to like and share, subscribe and press that hype button if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks again for all the support this season, and for the last time from me anyway. See you, bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.